Here's the truth about money and happiness. Have you ever noticed when you watch some of these movies and the rich people tend to be the evil people that live on the hill that's like plotting on everybody, right? It's like this evil message that we get about money being a bad thing. And even within spirituality and religion, a lot of people are taught that if you have a lot of worldly possessions like a big house, nice car, or fancy things, that you don't have a sense of spirituality or you're not holy or whatever the case it may be, whatever it is that you practice, it's almost like it's frowned upon. And because of these reasons, we tend to have a bad notion about what money is and what it can do for us. Because here's the thing, if there was a hurricane or earthquake or something like that in another country or even here in America, it would be great to send your prayers and blessings and all those things, right? But it'd also be great to send a check to help those people out. That's what a lot of people are asking for, like the Red Cross and all these other organizations, if you will. Yes, they're notifying you, they're letting you know that there's this terrible thing that happened, but also they're asking you for your donations. And if you're not in a financial place to donate to these causes, guess what? Things don't get solved, things don't change. And that's what we need to focus on, right? Money is not this bad and evil thing that people should avoid. It actually brings you a lot of happiness. But here's the thing, and this is the truth about money and happiness. Money can only bring you happiness if you have all the other boxes checked. I'll give you an example. Imagine if you're having a wedding and you're getting married and a year into the marriage, things are going good, and then one day you find out that things weren't so good and you realize that your partner's cheating or they don't love you anymore or whatever the case it may be, but yet you have these millions and millions of dollars, right? Now, here's the thing. Could that money help solve that marriage? Well, if you're willing to pay for therapy, family therapy specifically, and things like that, it could. But money's not going to magically make someone fall back in love with you. It's going to be the actions that the other person take, but also the actions that you take as well. That's going to help mend that relationship together. Because you can have the big house, you can have the nice cars, you can have all those things, but if the love isn't there in the household, the money is not going to magically make everything come back together or be what it was day one of you guys' marriage, if you will. Now, here's the thing. If everything is checked off, right? Imagine if you do have an amazing marriage, amazing wedding, right? Family's doing great, everybody's healthy, and you have $1 million or millions of dollars. Man, you guys can go on these, amazing trips. You guys can buy the biggest houses here in Florida or wherever you're from. You guys can have experiences that no one else could dream of having. But that can only happen is if the family is intact, if the marriage is intact, or as I mentioned, all the other check boxes. Now, here's the thing too. It's not just with family, but even let's look within yourself. Let's say you're trying to force your way into success because you're trying to get rid of some type of trauma that you've experienced in your past. This could be sexual abuse. It could be a divorce, right? More so meaning like your parents getting divorced, a near-death experience, a drug addiction, whatever it is, any addiction. Trust me when I say the success that you have, it will give you a temporary distraction from all these things that you're running from. But at late at night, when all the doors are closed, all the lights are off, those thoughts are going to come back in. And if you don't know how to handle them, they have the ability to take over. And that money can actually be used almost to your detriment because now you have all the resources to afford all the vices that maybe you should be avoiding. Now, let's keep going with this idea, right? Because here's the thing. I used to think that money was a bad thing, or I shouldn't even say a bad thing, but I used to truly think that money could not buy you happiness. And here's the thing. When we start to look at some of the successful people that have taken their own lives, you see that that is true, right? Some of the people that come to mind is Heath Ledger, so the guy that played Joker, right? Robin Williams, who was an actor, he played in so many different movies. Kate Spade, if you know about the bag, Kate Spade, my wife, she shops there, so I know who Kate Spade is, right? Even the guy that was the owner or founder of Bed Bath and Beyond. This guy was alleged, caught up in some type of fraud or whatever the case it may be, and he was being threatened with jail time. And as a result, he actually jumped over a balcony and took his own life. These guys that I mentioned, these people that I mentioned, they were worth millions. And we all know of stories like this, right? Now, I would be doing a disservice if I did not mention all the other people that are wealthy, but also are having an amazing life, that are happy, right? So it does exist. But again, all the other check boxes have to be checked. And it's when those check boxes are checked that money can actually bring you the long lasting happiness that you're looking for. I also want to give you something else to mull over, okay? Money also should not be the only lens that you use to make your decisions from. Okay, think about what I'm saying here. Money should not be the only lens that you use to make money from. And I'll give you another example. If someone were to ask you, or let's just say me, right? You guys should know who I am by the time you're listening to my podcast. Let's say someone were to approach me and say, hey, coach, we would love for you to speak at this event. It's going to be on February 6th, right? 2024. And I need you at 3 o'clock, and it's going to take you the whole day, right? And they say, let's say they say, hey, we're going to pay you let's say a couple $1,000s, right? Now, this sounds great if I'm looking at it from the money lens, but if I'm looking at this from the lens of being a parent or being a husband, that answer would definitely be a definitive no. And the reason why is because February 6th is my son's birthday, and more specifically, 2024 is going to be his first birthday. I wouldn't miss that for the world. There will always be more money to make. And I can make the case that choosing yes to that example, right? If I were to say, yes, I'll do it, it actually showed that I have a scarcity mindset and not an abundance mindset, okay? So think about it, guys. Notice how many options, how many answers, how many questions you're answering using the money lens and not the other lenses of your life. So that could be the lens of father, son, friend, worker, spiritual, your spirituality, like so many different things, okay? I give you a real life example too, just to show that money isn't everything. One day someone asked me at my church if I'd be willing to volunteer my time on a Saturday to go to the church and paint the doors. Now, the first thought that came to my mind was, man, I can actually use that time to work on my podcast or work on my webinars or maybe just relax, right? Like there's so many things that are running through my mind. Now, when I looked at that question from the lens of my spirituality, the lens of my religion, it was easy for me to say yes because it was me giving my time to something that was bigger than me, something that was more important than me, okay? I want you guys to see how the answers change based on the lenses that I'm looking at this question from, okay? And things like that would help you to always make the right decision. So, can money bring you happiness? I would say yes, only if the other check boxes are checked. And to do that, you have to look at the questions and honestly different facets of your life through different lenses. If you're able to do that, you'll have the balance that you need to support the money that will bring the happiness in your life. Because again, if something were to happen in whatever city, country, whatever it is great to send your blessings, but it's also great to send a check there as well. Guys, this is Coach Wells. Thank you for checking out this podcast, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys later.